We construct our lives and decide what we're going to do based on the reality that we experience. We know what we want, we figure it out eventually if we're successful, and we go after it. And many of us get what we want. If you use the analogy of the town, where the town is everything that we can experience, touch, feel, see, sense, use instruments to understand those tangible things in the world that are clear to us. And then understanding that the infrastructure around the town, which supports the town's functioning, is not always so clear. You'll start to understand better what I'm talking about. So just think about this conceptually at first. The issue is that what you want to function within the town effectively and get what you think you want is not going to get you what you really want. I know this paradox is confusing. The reason you know this is an issue is when you are striving towards something. When you feel a sense of striving, what's really happening is that underneath there's suffering going on, and you may not even be aware of it. This shows up as a feeling of something is missing, and you may not even know it because you're getting what you want. And this is ultimately the problem. Usually, it takes some sort of a crisis or a wake-up moment where you get what you want and you become profoundly depressed afterwards, or you don't get what you want and you enter a life crisis where you realize what you're doing isn't working. This is called a state of being elevation opportunity. So you don't have a problem to solve. We're solving problems all of the time through solutions that we find. The issue with this is that we don't construct the life that we really want, and we don't even know it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flush out the example of the town in a way where you can begin to start to create more of the life that you really want. So let's go back to how this reality works. So you have the town. Let's just say we're talking about a house. So inside the house is you and your family and all of the stuff that you can experience. Now there's connections into that house. You've got the electrical sockets. There's power going into those sockets. Let's say you can't see any of that. Somebody built that house. You don't know anything about that either. They're long gone, you think. There are people delivering things to the house. Maybe you've got food. Maybe you've got somebody bringing the mail. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The mechanism by which all those things are happening is not clear to you at all. When it became clear to me how my experience in this house of experience, the world of experience, is managed, and when I was able to connect into all of the systems that manage it, life changed radically. When this happens to you, you will feel like nothing is missing. You will enter a different plane of experience, of life experience. And you will begin to realize that you are going to get in this world everything that you've always wanted, and that you won't even want it. And that's a strange statement. I'm not saying having the kind of life that you want externally, that you have decided you're going to have and you are controlling, is not important. It is important. We have to live in this world too. I'm not saying go be a monk. What I am saying is that it doesn't mean as much as you think it does. There is a deeper opportunity here for us. When I discovered through my true self, when my true self and I connected, because I realized through examining all of my beliefs that everything we were taught is wrong, and experienced my burden patterns inside myself, freedom came, my true self connected in, and now fulfills its proper role in the drama of life. This is what's important. I don't know Eckhart Tolle, but I understand what he's saying now. When he says the power of now, he doesn't mean being in the present moment. Yes, he does, but that's not the point. So in the world of experience, yes, he's talking about being in the present moment. Connecting into the power around the town is not what that means. What he's saying is, as we connect with our true self, the power that is around that town is unlimited and now available to us fully. Now, how we use it is what we spend the rest of our life doing. It's figuring out how to use it. The condition of life always requires struggle and pain and the ability to navigate the human experience. But the experience of doing that when you're connected with your true self, or as you're even moving towards that connection and getting closer, even at the very beginning stages, is very, very different from what happens when you are not connected into that part of the town that surrounds you. So how do you do this? There needs to be a wisdom around understanding how reality works. This is very helpful, even if you don't have the experience of it yet. You have some experience of it. We all do. So that little feeling, something's helping you, that feeling, some people say, God's talking to me. Some people say, wow, I just trust my gut. Some people say, I always follow my intuition. That's a good beginning step in this, and it's very important. What we want to do is expand that into a conscious understanding of it inside yourself as an experience, where it's not only a little hint, it is you. That little hint of something becomes you. It is what decides everything. You're deciding on what you're doing in your life experience based on what you really are, what you really want. And the self of this experience that lives in the house has a creative side, it has an analytical side, it has a practical side. Those are the parts of your brain. And knows how to get things done in concert with your true self that's making the decisions. Now, you have the free will to reject those decisions. It's up to you. You set the intent. I want to go do this. Your true self helps you do it. There is a moment where you don't want to do, and this is hard, you don't want to counteract what your true self wants you to do because the power is so incredible. You want to do what it wants you to do, even if you don't prefer to do that thing. And this is what Michael Singer is explaining in the surrender experiment. And David Hawkins has explained this as well. So have others, many others. This is called surrender. And then detachment from outcomes. This is very difficult. As I do this, I recognize my preference, often living in the house, is I want to go do what I want to do. My true self, which is access to power, is saying, no, you really want to do something different. You're here for a particular purpose, and you want to fulfill that purpose. That's what you really want. Now, it's going to be hard, but I'm here for you all the time, and I will bring you whatever you need. Now, that's called infinite intelligence. So what's going on in the house is there is an infinite intelligence permeating everything, and we have immediate access to it, full access. The more you get connected to your deeper self, the deeper that access goes. Things begin to happen that other people consider miracles or inspired creativity. If you look at Leonardo da Vinci, if you look at Michelangelo, if you look at all of the major spiritual traditions, even in the modern world, books like The Go-Giver, is a good example of this. David Hawkins' map of consciousness. Where does this all come from? When you connect with your deep self, someone like an Einstein is able to formulate in his mind equations that could not be done otherwise. Why? He had established connection to infinite intelligence in a way where resources are coming to him all of the time. This is what we want. This is what you really want. To get here, you must surrender what you think you want in this world, and that's where the opportunity is. If you want to learn more how to do that, I would suggest beginning what I call the board of directors meeting, and I'll provide a link to begin working on that lifestyle. I see a lot of people who will decline the call to adventure, where they'll say, I don't want to go down the red pill pathway. Whether it's my program or anybody's program, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. It's, I don't want to do this. In other words, I'm busy with this. Well, what's really going on here is someone is taking control of their life, and in doing that is shutting out their true self. Eventually, this leads to a place where you feel like you didn't get what you really wanted in your life, and you may not even know it. Jim Carrey's quote explains this really well when he says, I hope that everyone can get rich and famous and get everything that they've ever wanted, to realize that it's not the answer.